Lore Friendly episode 106. Alice is out again. She's moving, I think. She's moving from Nottingham to not Nottingham. I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's what I'm going with. So in her place, we have a special guest, the one and only Skinnytecboy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yes, I'm ready. I don't think I could perhaps step into Alice's shoes. They're probably slightly too small for me for a start, but and she's far more interesting than I am. I think your coupling of your podcasts when you're coupled together are very interesting, and I always listen. I'm probably like the
really.
No,
you and 100 other Russian bots. It's just
I'm like the fifth like. When you get your likes on there, I'm number 5 usually.
Nice,
I'll listen in the morning, you see, when I'm brushing my teeth and having a shower, and I'll have a little listen, and they're very interesting. I did avoid the Game of Thrones one because I hadn't watched it at that point when you released that. I was like a couple of weeks late and getting to the end of that, so I had to avoid Twitter completely.
Yes. But now you're all good and spoiled and disappointed, I'm sure.
No, I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was great.
Oh, awesome. This is what we like to hear, some positivity on the show for once.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought the only thing that was bad was the Daenerys story arc, the rushed story arc of that. But Jon Snow, I thought it made sense. You know, it's kind of like the realism of a hero to go from nothing. He didn't go back to nothing, did he? But it's like he had done some bad things, but he got like a kind of just reward in a way. He got his freedom.
Yes.
And, you know, he can go out and find another girl who goes, "You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing." You know, and...
Well, yeah, it's something that George R.R. Martin, I think, planned from the start, because he always talks about Aragorn, and would Aragorn make a great king, and what is Aragorn's tax policy? And I'm not sure Jon Snow has a tax policy, so it made sense for him to give him the ending he did. The question we then have to ask, though, is what is Bran's tax policy? What is the Three-Eyed Raven's tax policy? But
exactly,
who knows?
Yeah, he's quite cold, isn't he? Really, Bran. When you look at it, he becomes kind of non-human in a way and detached.
To be fair, many accountants have that personality.
Yes, that's it. That's what George R.R. Martin was kind of trying to state, I think. Although he didn't, because he didn't write that part. Some guys in America.
The Three-Eyed Raven has very balanced books. That extra eye helps him like spot rounding errors.
It would make a nice little logo for an insurance company as well, wouldn't it?
Yes, it
would. Accountancy. The Three-Eyed Raven. You can trust us to keep your money safe.
We see all and know all, and occasionally peek into the future and the past, and it really helps with the stocks, I'm sure.
It would be fantastic, I think.
Yes, I would want the Three-Eyed Raven as my broker.
Yeah, I think they could launch a whole kind of brand. I think like insurance, the Three-Eyed Raven cereal, the Three-Eyed Raven coffee. You know.
Yes, the cereal especially. They could call it all brand.
Yeah. Drink on the no, keep on the go, and see about tomorrow. Like all kinds of stuff.
Then they could have Catelyn Stark
Yeah.
Endorse another cereal
Catelyn Starkbucks.
Or I was thinking Raisin Bran, because she raised Bran.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. It's good. You're thinking now. See, you're in the wrong business. What are you doing with your life?
Right.
Why are you here talking to me when you could be out there making millions?
Yes. Millions off my Raisin Bran idea.
Yeah. I did see a Game of Thrones cookbook, but I was a little bit worried about the sausage recipe, which related to is it foreign?
Theon.
That's him, and there was like a sausage casserole recipe with a picture of him next to it. For some reason, I didn't buy that book, but I leafed through it with intrigue until that moment. Theon's sausage casserole.
Yeah, I think I would lose my appetite when you imply that the sausages are made of penis. It definitely, that's when, and don't even get me started on the meatballs. It just goes into a direction my mind doesn't want to go. But enough about
I'm zipping my top. I'm not undressing. Don't worry. Getting naked for a podcast.
How are you? Do you have any news for us? Any mods that are coming out that you?
No, I've kind of I've reignited Carry On Skyrim after 6 years when I started it. When 2013, yeah, 6 years. Although I got about 3 years into it before I went off into our little tangents, and then kept on going back to it for a couple of months. But I've reignited that, and I kind of got so far, and I released a little teaser video. And then I got to this scripty point where, so basically in the plot line, because I like to break fourth walls, don't you?
Yes.
You know I like to break the wall. So
it is your brand.
It is my brand, but it's just my silly wit. But there's a point where the player can go into the Nexus offices. So the Nexus, as in the website, as in Robin Scott, and I've got up to this point where you finally meet Marvin, where he originates from, because he says quite clearly in the follower mod, "I come from the Nexus," and he literally does. He's like he's a guardian in the Nexus, and that's how something happens, and he ends up going back in time, and he's a bit of a time traveler. But I've got to this point in the quest where literally you go into Robin Scott's office to find the back door. There's a back door, which is a special door that can take you to different places. And I've scripted it so that the entire room dismantles into a vortex. And that took, I've got it working, but that took so much effort.
That sounds amazing. It's
But it won't be, because it's me. And I'm not very tidy. Anyone will tell you when they look at my scripts or my mods, I'm a very messy modder. I'm just like, the idea is there, but I'm not very clean. I'm not as wonderful as all those wonderful scripters like Chesco and yourself.
Yes. Oh no, my scripts are just as messy as yours.
I mean, I was taught about scripts by probably the worst person in the world to teach you about scripts, but also the most liberating in the world. DD Productions 83 taught me to script. and what I like about him is he thinks outside the box. So it's like, it's not about the script, it's more about what are you trying to do? Can you try and do something crazy with a script? And anyone who tries to read his scripts, they're just like gibberish and swearing, aren't they? I don't know if you've ever looked at any of his scripts in his mods. He leaves it all there for people to try and decipher. But I kind of understand his scripts. And he basically taught me to think outside the box. If I want to achieve something, how can I do it? And I'm not logical in a proper script sense. I just go, how can I do it? And I'll just keep trying different methods to get something done. But anyway, so with Carry On Skyrim, I've got as far as that. And then I've kind of sidetracked a little bit into book reading at the moment. I don't know if you're aware of that.
What particular book?
Well, a couple of years ago, as a favour to a friend, she asked me to, this is Mempha I'm talking about, the wonderful modder. She asked me to read The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe for her. And I did, as a sort of thank you present, and a sort of Christmas and birthday presents rolled into one. Maybe about 6 of those rolled into one. And I did it, and I started to enjoy it, because I like to talk and voice act and things like that. I can't help myself, so I got into it, and it's about 17 chapters, and it took me like a month to do it and edit it. And I gave it to her, and then about 3 months later, I said, is it okay if I put this on YouTube? And she went, yeah, of course, share it, and I did. And it's had the most bizarrest thing. It's kind of like I've had more hits on my book readings than on my mods, so to speak. So I've kind of, I get kind of weird comments from kids going, thanks, I don't like reading, thanks for this, which makes me feel like the guy who invented the atom bomb to some degree. But
how dare you?
Yeah,
poison their minds.
Yeah, I also, get a lot of positive responses. So on the back of that, about 3 months ago, I just out of a whim, I felt like reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I did the first chapter, and within a month, it had like about 11,000 views. I'm not kidding. It's just like my subscriptions of, not that I care about subscriptions, but I do.
We all care about
vanity. Vanity. We all have a little bit of vanity, don't we? It keeps us.
I mean, it's not something that you check every morning and determine your self-worth over, but it's nice to have subscriptions. It's nice to have lots of them rather than a few. So
it's nice to do things that like people feel positive about, and they give you. I mean, I get lots of comments about like my son and I are listening to this on the car on the way to school and things like that, and they're the comments that make me go, oh, okay, this is something I can do quite easily, because I find it quite easy to talk. To record myself talking, and then it's quite easy for me to then edit dialogue and audio. That's my easiest part of modding. So for me, just to sit there and read a book and pretend to be Gollum or Gandalf it's a lot of fun, and it's very easy. But yeah, to cut a long story short, I've kind of ended up reading The Hobbit. And then I've just foolishly started Lord of the Rings, literally a few months ago, not realising how big that bloody book is. It's ridiculously big. And then was like, I think I read like the Council of Elrond chapter. And for me, that was a 3.5 hour recording session, which is ridiculous, I know, but it's like, it's because there's so many voices and characters in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not ridiculous if you're having fun doing it. Time tends to fly if you are enjoying the work.
But the voice at the end of it just ends up down there, because it's so tired. It's just... But I'm enjoying it. I'm like... As a voice actor, I love doing it. It's good practice for me to do. Yeah. And people seem to be receiving it positively. So it's something I aim to do more.
Yeah, there's a range of characters that you can play, and it's just.
Can you do
a
Gandalf like that?
Can you do a snooty high elf?
Yes, I can. It's very easy.
Because one of the things I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with Ondolamar in Markarth, the high elf justiciar? He's trying to find a Talos worshiper. He has a very minor role. He's an NPC with maybe like 10 or 15 lines. Yeah. He's trying to find Talos worshippers. I think there's a small quest where you invade somebody's home and find an amulet of Talos or something, and then you snitch to the authorities, more or less. You tell him, and the guy gets arrested. The reason he's of note is I came across an interesting fact the other day. Did you know that Ondolamar in Markarth, a guy that you can probably vaguely remember, did you know that he has a unique mouth?
No.
That is unique to him. The player cannot have this mouth.
Has this been discovered by Skyrim romance or something? How's this interesting fact come to light?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It is on the official UESP page. I guess it's the unofficial page. Unofficial Elder Scrolls Project page. It's on the wiki.
Hey, we're on there.
Yes, we are.
Go on, carry on. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
That makes it even more official, the fact that we're on there.
Yeah.
But what do you think the reason is that this minor character has, for whatever reason, a unique mouth?
So when you say a unique mouth, do you mean like the tri-shapes or the way that the dynamics of the Nif work, or do you mean it just looks different?
I think it may be both. I haven't looked into the actual mesh or anything like that, but it's not a mouth that you can select. It's not a preset that the player can select.
Okay.
It is not a mouth that is on any other NPC. It may have its own mesh. I'm not sure.
Well, maybe he was like a prototype NPC that Bethesda made, that Todd would play. Todd's, hey guys, can I just have a go on this thing? This looks fab. This looks great. Can I just have a try this guy? And Todd would take this character around, and try riding horses and shooting arrows at the same time. Hey guys, why can't we shoot arrows from horses? This is just not working for me. That kind of stuff. Maybe that is why. Maybe he's Todd's avatar.
Oh. You think that they modeled his mouth after Todd?
I don't think that. I'm just surmising, possibly, from the little bits of information you've given me. I've never heard of this character before, to be honest. But what do you think?
He's a high elf in Markarth. Well, here's the thing. I mean, what possible reason would you want to give a character a unique mouth? I can't even imagine why. I mean, a unique face, yes. If he's in a character of importance, a unique face, like if we're talking about Delphine or Esbern or Ulfric or Ellis, if we were talking about major characters that you probably want to give unique features to. Companions in Fallout 4 would be the same. Piper, you might give her a unique face. This is an NPC in Markarth who, like I said, literally has 10 lines. I mean, is there a specific word that only this mouth can say that needed its own special like mesh and everything? A tri-shape or whatnot? It's just, I think it's a very strange thing.
This is starting to confirm my theory, I think, because the fact that he is unique but has very little lines means that he's some sort of trial, some sort of test, and not fully fleshed out. So an early prototype. It could be that he was Todd's avatar. It could be that, you know, there was an intern from somewhere in America who came over to Bethesda, got to work there for 2 days. They said, yeah, guy, you know, you just settle right in. The chocolate machine's over there. The coffee machine's there. You just work on this computer here and let's make an NPC, will you? And he sat there for 2 days and made an NPC, but everyone forgot he was there. And he just...
Is this his way of
still there
rebelling?
now. Yeah, he's still there now, waiting for the interview or something, but it never happened.
So it's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg.
Maybe it's the fact that you've said he's different from everything else means there's no conformity, so he's not part of the team. I reckon somebody's made him individually, and it's like a little pet project, or like I said, the intern, or if we really want to believe in the beautiful world that is Bethesda, Todd made him.
It is Todd's son, more or less. This is his virtual child.
Todd's avatar. I reckon if you could play him, he actually can shoot arrows off horses. I reckon he's unique.
He could do all the things that Todd actually wanted for the game, but could never get approved.
Somewhere buried in that code are command words where you can be Todd.
Perhaps he has special dragon shouts that only someone with this unique mouth can say.
Yeah.
I know he's an elf. I know he's not a Nord, but
Todd's an elf. As a high elf. Todd's an elf, isn't he?
True. Yeah.
He's a little elf. I'm little too. I'm not judging him by size. We're actually the same age, by the way. Todd and I. We've got a lot in common.
Yes.
Well, apart from the money and the good looks and the clothes and the cars, but we are. Other than that, we've both got our hair. We're both reasonably slender. We're both, charismatic, I would say, maybe. So we've got a lot in common, and I don't know why he doesn't invite me over.
Yes, maybe he's worried that you were going to take his place.
No. Because we could go into his penthouse. I know he's got bunk beds. He's bound to have bunk beds, and we could just hang out. We could have put some onesies on.
Let's see the resemblance, though. It's so uncanny. It would be like the Man in the Iron Mask situation, where he would want you to walk around in an iron mask so people don't confuse the two of you.
Yeah.
Especially the mouth. It's the mouth that would give you away as a possible sibling.
He'd have to sort of dress me up like Hannibal Lecter or something, wouldn't he? Just so people didn't, get mistaken. Like if I put his clothes on, I mean, they wouldn't fit me, to be honest. But if I put his clothes on, I could probably walk around, the Bethesda studios and could fool everybody, even Pete Hines, who I do actually look like Pete Hines, to be honest. I know I'm going with the Todd idea, but actually, in reality, a lot of people have said that when they've seen my face, that I do look like Pete Hines, but I don't really want to be him. I want to be Todd.
Yes.
If I'm honest,
you want the keys to the kingdom.
I just want to hang out with him. I bet he's got a really cool pad. Don't you think?
I think so.
I think he's got arcade machine. I think he's like Tom Hanks in Big, and he gets the apartment, and he's got the arcade machines and bubblegum machines and stuff like that. I reckon he's got all that.
So perhaps Ondolamar is actually not equipped with Todd's mouth, but perhaps Skinnytecboy's mouth.
Well, I can't say.
And this is a clue. This is proof of your relationship, your shared ancestry, and it's hidden right in the game. It's how
it could be, but I can't say. I'm bound by rules of secrecy and democracy and NDA.
Yes. That last one more than anything else.
Yes, we cannot say anything. What we have learned behind those sacred halls, we cannot say a thing. Our lips are sealed.
But what we can tell people are weird creation kit facts, and
we can tell them that it's fun and it's not actually. There's nothing that well, it is amazing, but there's nothing like secretive or dark. It's just a bunch of people going, "Hey, can we make some stuff?" And we are doing it in the vein of the game, as close to the base game as we can, so that it feels like part of the game and not like. It's been made by a teenager in his bedroom who likes ladies with large breasts.
Which is a very common theme I see on Nexus.
Yeah. So I think it's a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful experience, and I'm privileged to be part of it. To be fair, but there's nothing secretive. There's nothing cloak and dagger about it. I don't know why I'm going off on that tangent, but. I watched Juice Heads before this morning, going on about the $7 fridge in Fallout. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
So the latest Fallout 76 bundle update has a fridge in it that works out to $7 apparently. He seemed quite dismayed about that. I mean, I paid quite a bit more for my fridge, so I don't see what he's complaining about, to be fair.
Well, we're talking about 76, right?
Yeah. Which I've not played.
76 prices they're not the amount you're going to pay because you can earn money in game. So whenever they say something is a $7 fridge, it's not completely honest, because you can earn those 700 points or whatever it is by just playing the game. So the prices are technically whatever you make them, I think, at least in 76. If I want to pay $2 for this $20 item, I'll just pay $2 and earn the other 18 by playing the game. I don't think I paid for anything in that game when I was playing it. So
have you played it?
Yeah, I played it early on. I haven't played it with the updates, but whenever people get shocked about a price tag, it's with 76 it's a little bit dishonest because you can earn money in games. So you don't have to pay
that
for
sounds fair. That sounds fair. I've not played it, to be fair. I'm not really that big on online games. I mean, I played Call of Duty on my old PS3. And I used to quite enjoy that, being, demolished by 12-year-olds. That was good fun for me, having them shout down the mic, just, swearing at me. That was great entertainment. But I probably will give 76 a go, but just not yet. I don't think my family could bear listening to me talking to people down a game. Through a game, basically. I haven't got a private games room or anything like that. It's literally our family room is where my Xbox is. So that's I will only play when they go to bed. I don't want to upset them with pretending to be a young person playing games, really.
It's fine. Be a kid at heart.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm one of the original. I was there when Space Invaders came out. I am the first generation of gamers, really. I hold my hand up. I'm 49 years old. That's scary, isn't it? 49 years old. So 76, I remember playing Space Invaders. It probably came out a little bit before that, but that's when I played it. And it was just like, I am one of the first generations really to have the idea of a computer game. So I've grown up with games, and I think they are part of our culture. I mean, I'd rather play a game than watch a TV episode, usually, because you can make your own story out of it. So I don't watch regular terrestrial television in that sense. So I won't watch. I don't know what you have in America, but in England we have like Coronation Street, which is set in up north, Sheffield. Alice would like that. I bet she watches Coronation Street, which is a soap opera that's been running since the 60s. On the BBC we have EastEnders, which is set in London, and these soaps and these programs are regular things and everybody watches them, but I don't. I've never been interested in them. I prefer to make my own stories. I mean, I'll watch things on Netflix and do catch-ups and stuff like that, but I tend to binge watch when I do Netflix, and just enjoy a couple of days of watching something rather than waiting a week later to the next episode, that kind of stuff. So games have always been in quite an integral part of my life, really.
Yeah, myself as well. So it's just something that's a part of our lives as a hobby and something we do for fun. Now that we're doing it also for money as well, I guess you got to be able to balance that, I guess, right? You don't want to lose that, I guess, the spark, the imagination that you get just by playing it for fun.
So what have you been playing lately? What have you been playing?
I've been playing Greedfall for like a few hours, which is, I guess, an attempt to have a Dragon Age type BioWare game in a colonial setting, but it's made by Spiders, which isn't like a AAA studio. It's a little bit smaller team.
I thought you meant real spiders.
Yes. It's actually put together by the spiders in my backyard.
Well, they do own the web.
Yes. Very good. Not the World Wide Web, but the web in my backyard. So, have you heard about Greedfall at all?
No, I hadn't. I've heard sort of like a slight synopsis of it, but no. So you tell me, and I'll fill me in, Chris.
Yes,
fill me in.
Well, it has like a colonial
not
setting,
in a manly
right?
way, just like in
yes.
Go on.
Yes, it's not one of those podcasts. This is family friendly, but it takes place in a colonial setting, and you are on the side of, I guess, the colonists more or less, and you're trying to find a cure for a disease, and the only cure is, or they believe the cure is on this sort of native, like untouched island. It's basically America, more or less, right?
Right.
And you go there, and there's already a settlement there, and I guess it touches on just the idea of colonialism, and whether fighting against it is something that fighting against these institutions is something that is easy or good or can be good, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's like a commentary on just how impossible it is to fight the institutional nature of colonialism and the oppression that goes on against Native people, or if it's something that where it's just a game and there's a way to play it that maximizes your disposition with everybody, and it's not really trying to say anything. I don't know. It's an interesting game, but I think just from the gameplay wise, they do give you a lot of different options of how to solve various quests, which is pretty cool. I think it has a lot of like a Fallout New Vegas kind of vibe in that sense. The one thing I don't like so far is the dialogue is a bit spammy. Like it's an information dump. It's not really a conversation where you can pick and choose responses. But yeah, the premise is interesting because what people are saying is that it's almost like a commentary on, because usually when you play a game, you're the good guy and you can destroy the bad institutions with your good guy powers and your hero powers, right? Mm-hmm. And they're saying in some ways that this game allows you, or it kind of makes it so that you're almost helpless to fight against these large institutions. Because that's what it's like in real life, right? One person, it's almost hard to kind of side with the natives or side with the people who aren't in power, right?
Yeah.
And apparently this game lets you make those choices, but also makes it difficult if you try and fight the institutional powers that be, which is interesting artistic commentary, I guess.
So, but you can choose sides. So, for instance, you can try and help the natives, but if you do, you've got a bigger struggle. Is what you're saying.
And I think that's where they're saying that it might be, because I haven't played it all the way through, so I don't know if it's true throughout the game, but they're saying that it might be an interesting commentary that way, because the easier way to play is to just decide with the colonists, more or less.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to sort of like to kind of observe the statistics of who sides where in some way, because obviously something like that, because it is, you know, it does kind of like, it could be pro institutionalized, but it also could be, you know, pro kind of freedom of things as well. I'm not saying the right words here, but what I'm trying to say is that you'll have some people who will go, yeah, just fucking take it over, man, and shoot them all, you know, right? But you'll have some people who are more liberal, who want to, you know, please everybody or save people. So it'd be interesting, because that's the thing about most games, isn't it? It's like stealth games like Deus Ex, where you can go in all guns blazing and just shoot, or you can go in a more tactical way and try to resolve conflicts, if you like. So I find it interesting, games like that, where as a game developer, they obviously know that there is an audience for people who just want to destroy. But there's an audience for people who are intelligent as well and want to think things out. And that's the beauty of games. I mean, films don't do that for you, do they? TV series don't do it. They tell you what to think, you know.
Exactly.
Whereas, like in a game, you get choices. You can make your own story. I mean, I know exactly. You were describing that game to me. I know exactly how I would play. I would go, you know, I would try and I'd try and sort of save the natives. I would, because that's, you know, embedded in me. I'm quite liberal in my thinking.
Myself as well.
But that said, there's nothing I like more than to play Fallout 4 and shoot things. You know. But
yeah, and I think I'm gonna play that way. I'm interested to see how difficult it makes the game for me, because I know my reputation with certain factions. Like, there's a church faction. My reputation is already sunk with them. They already hate me. My reputation has also dropped with the Bridge Alliance, which is loosely based on Sikhs. They have turbans and things like that. So it's but because I saved a particular group, that they're not happy with me, and so there's just it's interesting to see how that will play out and whether that plays out in a meaningful way. Like, I know some of the choice mechanics are a bit facile in that, like, it's like you can either pick the lock or break the wall with your magic power, you know. It's a choice, but it's not really all that interesting a choice.
It's got magic.
Yes.
Or you can
it was
kill, America.
Yes. Or you can kill the guard and take the key. So, I mean, there are like 3 different ways of doing something, but it's technically not all that interesting. But there's other choices that are interesting, in that where you can sneak out the back, or you can go outside and try and calm down a crowd of angry rioters who want to kill a person inside. So those tend to actually have different kinds of gameplay that seem meaningful. So I'm excited to kind of like delve further into this game and see if it's really worth playing. I mean,
it sounds interesting. I mean, the clues are there in the title of the game, really, aren't they? Greedfall, the fall of greed.
Yes.
So, I don't know if it's something I would play, but it does sound interesting. I
Yeah,
don't think I could invest the time into that. I mean, I played Witcher 3 for about a month, and I've not even touched the main quest properly yet, and I just got bored in the end. There's so much, you know, ride here and get that creature and try and get that piece of armor, and I just get distracted by all the little quests rather than the story. So I kind of lose interest. I mean, I loved it, but games like that, once you put them down, they're hard to pick back up again, because you've got to try and remember how to do the special moves and all that kind of stuff. You know, how do you block, how do you parry and all that kind of stuff. So it's just too much hard work for me. So in the end, I just turn on Fallout 4 and shoot things. Because it's just easy. Which is why I don't think 76 appeals to me, because it's more settlement building in a way. So it appears to me anyway, that it's, you know, all the kind of talk, video related reviews that I've seen have been with about settle, you build your little homes and stuff like that. That would just bore me shitless. Sorry, I swore.
No, you could.
Okay.
Swear all you like.
Cool. Yeah, that just doesn't get me. I mean, it doesn't get me in Fallout 4. I don't like settlements. The settlement quest line. I don't play it. I don't want to pretend this is real. I just want to be entertained for like 30 minutes to an hour, which is why also, like in Skyrim, I have never married anyone in Skyrim. It's just I'm not pretending it's real, but I know there are people in the world who believe in it, and when I've made followers, they've gone, why can't he be marriable? I'm like, what? So as a joke, you can marry Marvin, in a manner of speaking, and I just did it as a little joke that if the player had an amulet of Mara, it would open up unique dialogue where basically Marvin would start nagging you like he's your wife. It's like, oh, you don't like my hair then, that kind of stuff, and just moaning at the player. But I don't know if anyone's discovered it. I've never had any comments about it, but there is. If you've got Marvin, if you've got an amulet of Mara, basically, if you talk to him, he would trigger a series of like random responses that are just related as if he's married to you. He won't physically marry you, but it's like I find it bizarre. Don't you find it bizarre?
The act of marrying somebody in game.
Yeah, or the act, let's say, of going back to games like EverQuest where people just build this world and they kind of live in that world and it becomes a bit too real for them.
Do you mean player inserts, like things like that?
No, I mean like marriage or settlement building where they have to go back and manage it all the time, and it's it's like they think it's real. It's like, having to care for a plant or something.
Yeah, it's a Sims kind of mechanic, I think, that has... I mean, how, like, there's a lot of cross-pollination with lots of different games where they borrow mechanics that people enjoy from other games and they put it into their own games, maybe not always successfully, but they try. Like Fallout 4 has elements of Dragon Age companions when you talk to, like, Piper or Preston or whatever. They've integrated some of that into their game. And I'd say the same is true with the marriage stuff. It's kind of like The Sims. It's kind of like people want to role play and live out their lives. I personally don't have a problem with it. I don't really think it's all that.
Have you married someone in Skyrim?
Have I married? That's a question. That's a loaded question. That I haven't married anyone, but my character,
That's what I mean.
Married Ayla the first time through. I don't know. In subsequent playthroughs, I don't think I've gotten that far. She's
a moose. She's a moose. How could you marry her? If you're going to marry someone, it'd be Lydia. Come on.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. I'm sorry. It wasn't Ayla. It was Isolde. Isolde is the person.
Fair enough. But no, to be fair, I'm joking. It's just never floated my boat. I just want to like run around and shoot things. And the lovely thing about Bethesda games is that you go somewhere and you're just forced to keep moving forward because there's always an interesting corner. Like you turn that corner, oh, there's a jar. Oh, what's in the jar? And then you turn the next corner. Oh my God, it's a Draugr. Oh God, fight him! And you just keep moving forward. And the same with Fallout 4. Oh, there's a tin can. Oh, there's some asbestos. Oh, great. Oh, look, there's an ogre. Not an ogre, but a mutant. So you just keep moving forward, and it just drives you. But the lovely thing about that is that you can do it in bite-sized chunks. You can go, right, I'm just going to play for an hour, so I'm just going to go and explore here. Oh, found a little dungeon. I'll go in there and explore. Oh, I've found some gems. I've killed some people. I'm going to bed now. You just have a nice little bite-sized bit of entertainment. But the idea...
Well, depends how deep you want to go into it. Because even the act, like you just said, of going to sleep. Going to sleep is not a necessary component for a video game creation. Video game protagonist. You don't technically ever have to sleep, but the mere act of going to sleep provides you an immersion with... I know we hate that word, immersion.
Yeah, right? See, that's what it all comes down to.
Yes. It helps you sell the fact that your character exists in this world, and those are things I like personally. I don't know if I really played with the marriage mechanic a lot. Like oh, this is my wife, I need to come home or she's going to miss me. It's not like that. It's more of just like,
but some people have.
It makes sense for, I guess, for this person to have a wife, to have a home to come back to when they're done adventuring, and it sort of adds a layer to their humanity, I would say. It humanizes our player protagonist in a way that doesn't make them just a killing machine the same way you play Fallout 4, or you just turn into one of these mass murderers. You kind of give them a human side, and it adds layers to their character, I think. So I am for the marriage. I am for having the moments of peace and respite, I guess.
Well, let's let the comments on this video decide that. I think. I think no. I think your view is valid and very well spoken. I just me personally, I just think. I just keep going back to games like EverQuest, where people were actually getting married on the online game. Okay. Yeah, and I kind of wonder, will that happen in Fallout 76?
I think so. It's bound to happen.
Do you reckon? I think, yeah, okay. If it happens on Fallout 76, maybe I'll change my ways. But I'm looking forward to that moment, and I'll be there when that happens. I might give them away. I will give them away, or I'll do the ceremony. I'll make a vicar character.
Yes, you'll be a priest of Mara. You're gonna be what's his name, Marmal.
Well, not in Fallout 76. No, I'll be a mutant.
Oh, that's true. It's different. Do they even have? They do have a religion. There's a church in Diamond City, but I don't know if in 76 if there's a church. But
yeah, well, I just think, my whole point is that I'm getting back to kind of that whole immersion thing. It's like immersion is great to actually feel like you're crawling through that dungeon and that kind of stuff, but let's keep the real life in real life, if you know what I mean. So things like having to maintain your house, having to keep the wife happy, that kind of stuff. Keep that real. Don't have an online kind of life.
There's
like
a balance between, I think, immersion and tediousness. Like some of the survival aspects in Fallout I find tedious, like drinking water all the time and eating food. Yes, at some point, yes, it feels real life, your character needs to eat, but the whole act of eating is more or less, I just find it tedious. I wouldn't mind if they auto-consumed food or something like that, and having to maintain a certain amount of food in your inventory, a certain amount of water in your inventory was something you had to do. But the mere going into the Pip-Boy or hotkeying like a food item is just, it's not fun. It's just tedious. And at that point, I just don't want to deal with it. But yeah.
The food kind of feels wasted in Fallout 4, to be honest, doesn't it? It's like, it's not very appetizing. The only thing when I play Fallout 4, the only thing I always do make is obviously if I get a mutant hound or if I get a ragstag, then obviously I'll collect that because I know I can make useful food that has little perks to it. For the ragstag you get the carry weight, don't you? If you make a ragstag steak, and the mutant hound chops, you get radiation. It will reduce radiation. So things like that are quite useful. But I still have to go back to my camp and cook and go, sometimes it's a bit of it breaks the flow of what you're doing. So you could like literally go and do a location and clear it out, and then you've got to go back to your camp and drop everything off and unload and build weapons and cook your meals. Oh, I need to have a rest to get well rested perk. It can be a bit annoying, I think.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Where you just want to keep going forward and seeing what's there. But I guess it's a way of slowing and pacing the game as well. So it has its plus side, I guess. I mean,
So when you play Skyrim, do you play like a Farkas more or less? You're just
I do no. Obviously, you get a carry load, so you at some point you have to head back to take back all that lovely booty that you've just found, and you need to get rid of it. And obviously you end up buying a home because you need somewhere to store it where the game won't delete it. I mean, when I first started playing, I remember I used to just stick everything in the barrel by the blacksmiths. And it stayed there for months and months, and then suddenly it just deleted itself. So all the dragon bones I had, I used to keep there. But that was obviously before I started modding or using mods. So I didn't, excuse me, I didn't know about cheating. But now, yeah, you have to get rid of stuff, I guess. So yeah, you have to break the flow. I guess what you're trying to make me say in a roundabout way is basically, you know, if you've got to go and do that anyway, you might as well throw a few other things in there to make it more immersive. Is that what you're trying to make me say? Because you've succeeded. Yes, you're right. You're correct. I'm wrong. I shut up now.
Speaking of Skyrim, speaking of marriage, I guess, and having someone to come home to. So, do you want to tell me about this story you found about this?
Well, it does relate slightly. So let's just look at the whole scenario of like somebody wanting to marry someone in Skyrim and really wanting to believe it. And quite recently, I just found an article. I'm just bringing it up on my phone right now of a woman who married a tree.
Yes.
Now, fair enough, she actually did it as a kind of political statement, but it just instantly made me think of Skyrim, of the Skyrim marriage system. So it's quite a witty little story. I don't know if you want me to give you any details, but
yes, please give our listeners the details.
Okay, a mum of two has tied the knot with a tree and now intends to change her surname to reflect the species she has married. I won't say her name. I just called her Kate. Kate's family and friends looked on as the bizarre wedding ceremony was held in a Merseyside park. That's near me, by the way. The 34-year-old bride decided to marry the elder tree in Liverland's Rimrose Valley Park as a stunt to raise awareness about the campaign opposing the construction of a new bypass. It sounds like Arthur Dent. So yes,
does the tree have any say in this marriage? I can't imagine the tree consented.
I think it was a forced wedding.
Oh,
I reckon so. It was, gunshot wedding of some sort. Maybe she had impregnated the tree somehow, and they had to just rush things through. I don't know. Maybe she really did love the tree, or
maybe she's part Argonian. Because we know Argonians have ties to trees, the hist, as it's called.
I did not know that.
Oh yes, they worship these mythical, not mythical, but they're these beings, these tree beings called the hist, and they're almost like gods for the Argonians. And there's actually some lore that suggests that the hist can control Argonians through some kind of telepathy, telepathic powers. And so
you can edit that out. You can edit that.
Yes, it's quite possible that perhaps this tree has forced her into marriage. We don't know.
Maybe
anything could be possible in this case.
It will end in divorce though, because eventually he'll rub her up the wrong way, won't he?
Yes. It's very rough, the bark.
It's rough bark. But yeah, I don't know a lot about Argonians, to be fair. I don't think I've ever played an Argonian. I should take a leaf out of Arthmor's book and play an Argonian. Because that's what his little avatar, isn't it? Is that Argonian?
Yes. The people who play as Argonians are very serious about it. They use the avatars for their online persona. They never stray.
Yeah.
It is
same as ESO's a Khajiit, isn't he? So what's your persona? What's your avatar? Who do you always play as?
It depends on the game. I think for Oblivion, I played as an Imperial. I think for Skyrim, I played as a Nord, which is kind of boring. In Dragon Age Inquisition, I played as an elf because it was a very elf-centric game. So I tend to just go with the setting. I don't necessarily have a go-to race that I play as.
I think I'm exactly the same as you. I play as a Nord in Skyrim because it is a Nord-centered game. So what do we think about, what do you think, rather, about Elder Scrolls 6, do you think it will be set in Hammerfell?
Probably. It's the most logistically easy region to pull off. It's the easiest to sell. Anytime you have a human race, that tends to be the easiest one to kind of market. I don't think a game in Black Marsh would be easy to market as so. It's even though I'd like to see an alien world like that, chances are we're going to get something very human and very familiar.
Yeah. Say like the Argonians and Khajiits, they're kind of like the alternate kind of races, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be like everybody else mainstream wise, you can play these races kind of sort of attitude, isn't it? Which tends to attract the more unique people, as you said, very serious people. I mean, playing as a Khajiit is fun. I have played a little bit as a Khajiit, but to be honest, it's just easy for me to do a Nord. Because you get a nice helmet, don't you?
Well, it's for Skyrim. It's definitely. I think just when you pick a race that is native to the land, it's certain things mean more. I guess the history, the factions, the wars, all of that stuff. It's sort of rooted in that. I guess you could play as a race that like Nords aren't friendly to, and it would take on a different meaning. Because I have been. Like personally in my own life, I would say just being someone who is who is a minority in a country where it's predominantly white. So then there are sort of personal things I could take from that. But I think in general, it's sort of meant to be played as a Nord in Skyrim, just because you're the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
There's a lore and history behind it. It kind of matches.
They're the oppressed natives, aren't they? They're the oppressed natives, and it's
I think
the whole storyline.
In a game in Black Marsh, I would play as an Argonian. So
yeah.
It just makes sense.
That could be an interesting one though, because that could be a bit like Gothic, couldn't it? I don't know if you ever played Gothic, the first one, and you had 3 kind of faction worlds, and there was a wonderful kind of swamp world where it's basically they were like Tibetan monks there, but prisoners. Everyone in the game are prisoners, but they literally just smoked weed and sat around in togas. But it was like a swamp environment, but it had a different feel to all the other places. It was just, the music was a bit more chilled, and the soundscape of the whole place was just, really beautifully constructed. I recommend playing it if you can get over it. Still a great game, but yeah, it just had this lovely, lovely feel. So something like the Black Marshes could be fantastic, really, as an environment. A new environment for Elder Scrolls. But you're right, it probably is going to be Hammerfell, and we're probably going to go for a more kind of, redstone kind of keeps and deserts and sun, and they probably have like heat survival mode, too much heat, like
that would be interesting.
Fine shade, like firestorms and stuff like that. So they could do lots of interesting things with that, I think. And sand and stone, and there's so much architecturally. There's so much you can do with that, rather than just white, snow, which is what Skyrim is really. Apart from White Run and
the one thing I am looking forward to is a departure from the Skyrim kind of world and motif. It's just desert would be a welcome change from snow and more snow.
I wouldn't say I'm bored of Skyrim. I wouldn't say I'm bored of it. I recently, because I've got a few versions of Skyrim installed, obviously, but I recently just went, you know what? I've still got old Rim installed. Oh, sorry, Legendary Edition installed, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to mod the hell out of it. I thought I won't ever touch it otherwise. So I'm going to put all. Because I don't really play with mods, because I've got my own mods, so I'm testing all the time, so I don't have mods installed. So I thought I'm just going to put in loads and loads of aesthetic mods and game-changing mods, and I literally I did play for about 3 weeks non-stop, and I really enjoyed it, and I started a new character and everything, and I quite enjoyed that freedom of just being a player and not. I think that's probably why I kind of paused modding for a little bit, because I started to enjoy playing again and actually smelling the roses, so to speak.
Smelling the roses. possibly getting married. It's just there's a lot of things to do in the
Well,
game that you haven't done yet.
Lydia and I, we're just starting out. I took her for dinner the other day, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes. I mean, she wears all that armor and.
Yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps. I mean,
She
swore to carry all my burdens, but there's some things that even a lady can't carry.
Who can carry those burdens?
What's that?
A tree.
A tree, yes. If only you could marry a tree in Skyrim. Someone should make that mod, he said hypnotically.
And not just any tree. What about marrying the Elder Glade? Huh?
There you go. I know just the person who could do that. Who could make that mod. I'm going to challenge her later. I
think that sounds like a Skinnytecboy mod. I think marrying the Elder Glade.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, talking trees. I could do that. I could do that. I did think of a mod for Fallout 4. I don't know if anyone's done it yet, but what was I going to... I was going to call it, or abbreviate it to WTF, yeah? So what the rude word. And it was basically which tape found. Because I don't know about you, but like when I go into a place and I see holotapes, I'll pick them up and then something attacks me and I go along and I quite forget which holotape I've just found. So I end up like not listening to a holotape and not initiating quests or finding the next bit of information. So I end up with like an inventory full of holotapes and I don't know which one I should be listening to. So I thought I might make a tiny little mod that just tracks which the last holotape you got and kind of lets you know. And I rather wittingly thought which tape found because it spells out a rude exclamation, which is very much in the vein of Skinnytecboy products. Because I'm products now. That's what I do. No, I don't really. But yeah, that's something I thought of. But yeah, talking trees in Skyrim. I could do that. I could.
You could.
Shall I?
Sure, why not?
Okay, you've heard it here first, people. Okay, it's going to happen. Talking trees. I'll do it for April 1st.
Sounds good. Speaking of romance, last topic. Do we want to talk about this Colonel Sanders game?
Yes. Finger licking good.
So, yes. KFC has released a dating sim game where you can date Colonel Sanders and I guess learn to be a master of selling fried chicken or something like that.
Well, his chicken's worth licking.
12 herbs and spices even.
This is an AMI one, isn't it? It's like it's very like bizarre. There's lots of girls in short skirts and guys looking overly intelligent and yet
sexy. Are you not a fan of the dating sim or that particular genre?
I've never tried one. To be honest. But what I've seen of it, it does tickle my fancy. I think I'd try it out just out of curiosity. I mean, what do you get if you're successful with a date? Do you get like free hot wings or something? Does it give you coupons?
I don't know. Does it have real world applications?
Well, it must have an ultimate goal to sell. You know, if KFC are going to go out on a whim and make a game, they're obviously going to put some product placement in there, and they want you to go out and buy a KFC. So I'm intrigued to know how that kind of fits into the world of dating, to be honest.
You who were saying that marriage in Skyrim is a waste of time, you are actually for the game that is solely based on romance.
No, I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm intrigued. Entertained mentally to kind of know, well, how are they using meat products to just, or how are they using dating to sell meat products, or maybe the other way around, how are they using meat products to sell dating? I
think it's just a general uplifting of their profile. People are talking about it. We're talking about on the show that there is a dating sim where you can date Colonel Sanders and presumably have wedded bliss with him. And just us talking about it makes people think of KFC, and I guess they go out and eat chicken. It's all connected.
Yep, was Colonel Sanders listening to these ideas? I mean, who's come up with this idea?
It's next level marketing. It's just, you put the idea out there, get people talking about fried chicken. But yeah, KFC has a gaming division, so this is something that they.
Yeah, but it's normally like little products that come with the kids' meals or something like that. But this is next gen, isn't it? This is a whole new level. I mean, what's next? McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's might have a gaming division. And their ultimate goal may be to have you date Ronald McDonald. Who knows?
Yeah. It's crazy, but I go back to my original question: who comes up with these ideas? Who are they listening to? Have they got a special department for okay, this is the money statistics department where we put conjectures of kind of, accountancy and where we're going for, with profits ahead. This is this division, and over here in that little corner in that back room, we've got the crazy ass small games division. What have they got for us in this meeting? Well, we thought about a dating game to sell meat products. Okay, let's listen to this guy. Do you know what I think? I think we've gone full circle here. I think that the intern who made that character with the unique mouth in Skyrim, after he left Bethesda, well, he didn't leave, they just ignored him, and he just got his coat and went after 2 weeks of making a mouth. I think he went over to KFC, and I think he's the same person. Because it's such a unique, crazy-ass idea.
So now we're getting to the meat of the reason for this mouth. It's actually a sexual thing.
Yeah. While he was making that mouth, he was actually planning out, what do I like? I like dating. I like meat products.
I want a mouth that is specifically designed to consume meat.
He's unique. He's bridged that gap between meat products and gaming. I mean, who else could have done that? I mean, no one in their right mind would have thought of that as a link. Everyone's going to do it now. You're going to have crisps that are game related. Rather than watching football, they're going to go, right, sod the football. We're not selling enough of those potato chips. Let's just concentrate on, Mario Kart. Or whatever game, or dating games, or Pac-Man, and let's gear towards that. So this guy has set a trend. If it is a guy,
it could be a tree.
Maybe it's a girl. It could be a tree. Yes, you're right.
We don't know. We don't know. It's just it could be anyone or anything.
Either way, in some way or fashion, it's all interconnected by the spiders.
So I think if you try this KFC game and you get the sudden urge for fried chicken, then it worked. If you don't, it might still have worked. A week from now, you might just get a craving for fried chicken and not know where that idea popped up from. And then
I think we should try it. I think you should Twitch it. I think you should put it on your... Have you got a Twitch channel?
I do, but I don't use it. But I can use it.
I challenge you now, here and now. I challenge you to get that game and stream it. I reckon this could be your new break.
Yes.
Never mind all the clever writing and stuff like that. You just won't need it anymore. You just will be... It'll be you with a KFC bucket.
Yes. That's actually going to be my plan B. My plan A, obviously, is to marry a wealthy tree. One with plenty of gold. One money tree. I'm going to marry a money tree. That's it.
Yeah. Why did you marry a tree? Well, she never complains. I can see it working.
Yes. So on that note, we talked for over an hour. It was a pleasure catching up with you. It was great talking to you.
You too, sir.
Again.
You too. I don't know what we've talked about really. I don't know if we've changed the world a little bit, or
I think we have,
or maybe we've reversed it a little bit. I don't know. But either way,
we'll know when we check the stocks of KFC. Tomorrow, we'll know how high they've flown up.
We might get an invitation.
Yes.
We might, say where Bethesda flew out, YouTubers to play Fallout 76. We might get an invitation from our local KFCs, and we might get, a couple of hot wings thrown into the bargain.
Yes. That's much better than stocks.
Come and play this, and we get one of those little paper hats as well. No expenses spared. It could be good.
It will be good. Just ask your three-eyed raven. He'll tell you all about it. So there you go. Full circle.
As it should be.
All right. It's great having you on. It's great talking to you.
You too, sir. You too.
And we'll see you next week.